Guys, welcome back to episode 14 of the weekly wrap at Zapped. So, let's get straight into it. You can see here a bunch of manufacturers that we'll be covering off today. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. So, first things first, Chery Omoda E5. Now, we've been talking about this one for I think a couple of weeks now, and previously we had specs confirmed. We had pricing TBC, battery size was TBC, and we've got that information now. So basically over here on the left hand side, 42,990 for the base model or the entry level BX, and then the EX, which is the higher spec, 45,990. So a difference of $3,000 before on-road costs. So basically the way that I'd like to see it is for $3,000 you are getting all of these things here on the right hand side. So is that worth it to you if you are going to buy one? My perspective, I think it is, especially having heated seats, 360-degree camera, power tailgate. I think is, I guess, a standard that I would definitely expect, and the rest, in my eyes, are just nice-to-haves. But for $3,000, I think those things are absolutely worth it. And in terms of battery size, it's confirmed here. It's 61 kilowatt-hour battery pack. So yeah, you've got long vehicle warranty, long battery warranty, or quite standard battery warranty, I guess. Still 430 kilometers WLTP, and single motor front mount. So none of those details have changed. So those look like essentially final pieces of information for this car. All right, let's move on. So obviously you guys may recall seeing this one here, the Geely E5. So now the official naming has come out for the Australian market. So it's going to be called the EX5. So that's fantastic, because if you look at the slide before, the Chery Omoda, that's the E5. So glad that we're not going to confuse names now. You've got the E5 from Chery, now you've got the EX5 from Geely. So yeah, it's essentially built for Australia. Specs are still not 100% out or confirmed as yet, but if we look at the Chinese variant, you've got 160 kilowatts and 320 Newton meters of torque. It says that the brand uses the short blades battery, and in the Chinese market there's two battery sizes, 49.52 kilowatt hours or 60.22 kilowatt hour LFP unit, which means that in terms of range you've got a variation between roughly 440 to 530 kilometers on CLTC cycle. So yeah, as I said, there's no confirmed specs yet. It's definitely coming, and the name that they're going to give it is the EX5. Alright, some news on Volvo. So, new infotainment system supposedly is coming soon. So, they did originally show, or they did first have the new version appear in the EX30 and the EX90 electric SUVs. The EX90 obviously just overseas at this point in time. So they're saying now that their new infotainment system will roll out to models as old as 2020, which is really, really fantastic, because think about it, it's 4 years ago, and how fast does technology move? Anyway, so it says here, and I'll read straight off the quotes that I've pulled from the Drive website. So the update, which will also appear in the refreshed XC90, will be available on all Volvos compatible with an Android-based operating system built in 2020 or later, which includes the C40, the XC40, EC40, S60, V60, V60 cross country, XC60, S90, V90, V90 cross country, and XC90. So a whole lot of models there. And it says here, Volvo will be sending out the updates over the course of the next year, with around 2.5 million vehicles expected to receive it worldwide. It is still going to be Google's Android operating system, but it's been understood to be simpler, and they also have buttons to access frequently, such as maps, phone calls, and all that stuff. So they've made it just easier to navigate. And then apparently also, when you are doing lower speeds, there is an icon for outside cameras, which helps you obviously maneuver tight car park spaces as well, so that you don't obviously gutter rash your car, scratch your car, and whatnot. So yeah, fantastic news, especially the fact that they're going to retrofit into vehicles up to 4 years old. So really love that. Great job, Volvo. Alright, next one, we've got the Kia EV3 GT. Now, this was taken from the Car Expert website. So what they're actually saying is they're supposedly going to have a Go Fast GT version, which targets 250 kilowatts of power with a sub 6 second 0 to 100 time. Now, 250 kilowatts sub 6 seconds, realistically these days, with how quick EVs are, that's not something that is crazy quick. However, for the size of the car, that potentially is. So we'll have to see once we get more information on that. Good side of things is it says here that dual motor all-wheel drive GT all-wheel drive versions likely to be released later in 2025. I absolutely love all-wheel drive cars. They have so much better traction on the roads, and yeah. And you see here as well, 81.4 kilowatt hours on the long range battery pack, and as I said, about 250 kilowatts. So yeah, seems like it's going to have a decent sized battery pack, all-wheel drive, decent power. I'm sure it's going to be a good car. And as you can see there, it says it's still under development and may undergo changes. So I'll keep you guys posted when we hear more about that. But are you guys excited to see the EV3 and a performance version of that? I certainly am. Alright, let's jump over to some news on MG. So MG says here they're going to be the first car or first brand to launch an electric car with a solid state battery in 2025. So we're 3.5 months out from 2025. They're saying that within the next 12 months they're going to launch it from its parent company's sake. And so yeah, it's going to be shared with other SAIC brands as well, but it's going to be launched in an MG model first. So I guess it's something to watch this space. So it says here that solid state batteries are more energy dense batteries, and that means that you can extract more power from less battery, I guess, material in there, which means more power for the car, potentially lighter car. Charging speeds, I don't know, we'll have to see as we kind of start to understand more of this technology, but from what I had a quick read on, there are some downsides compared to LFP/NMC when you're comparing solid state, but overall, is it a better battery? It absolutely is. So yeah, let's look into this when we get more news. Now, on to the next one. It is an MG again. There is a new car called the Marvel R. So supposedly this has been spied testing in Australia, and it is going to be, you know, a Model Y competitor. So it's supposed to be here in the first half of 2025. Based on the searching the plates, it's supposed to be a evaluation vehicle with a tare weight of 2,040 kilograms. Some of the other cars, I guess, in terms of competitors, you know, Model Y, as I've said, you've also got the BYD Sea Lion 7, you've got the Geely EX5 that we covered off in the first slide, and then we've also now got the Xpeng G6. So yeah, more competition that's coming, so that's always fantastic. Now the CEO Peter Chow actually told Car Expert, and this was me reading through the article, that from the MG3 to the Cyberstar, for every $10,000 increment they are going to put a model there, which means, as an example, from $20,000 to $30,000 there'll be one car, $30,000 to $40,000 there'll be another car, and so forth, all the way up through to $90,000, $100,000, whatever that Cyberstar is gonna cost driveway. I presume off the top of my head, I think it was $110,000 in there around. So watch this space. Seems like we are going to have plenty of MG cars coming into the market. Alright, next one here, the Zeekr 7X. Now this news here was just specifically for overseas. I guess it was just a celebration for Zeekr, so congratulations to them. All it was saying was that within the first week of opening orders or pre-sale started, they had 20,000 orders. What a crazy number. Now in terms of price, and again, the price that it is going to be in China versus what it's going to be here is going to be totally different, but for comparison's sake, in China it starts from 239,900 yuan, which is roughly just under 34,000 US dollars, which in terms of US dollars is roughly $1,400 less than a Model Y. So yeah, 20,000, what a number. And some key specs based on that Chinese model: 800 volt architecture, 75 kilowatt hour LFP battery. The NMC version is 100 kilowatt hour, so obviously longer range. And then you've got 600 to 780 kilometers in terms of their COTC cycle for the range. So yeah, either way, congratulations to Zeekr. 20,000 orders is no small feat, especially within the first week. Alright, let's move on to another brand, Leapmotor C10. So, this essentially has had ADR approval just recently, over the past, I think, like 24 hours, so that's fantastic. So it's definitely coming to Australia. There's very, very limited news on exactly the full specs of this car. It is definitely a Model Y competitor, so that is another one to add to the list, as with the Xpeng G6. And all we know so far is supposedly up to 420 kilometers WLTP and 160 kilowatts of power. That's literally all we know. So yeah, once we know more information, I'll make sure I share it with you guys. Alright, let's move on. So you may recall that it was either last week or the week before I showed you guys this one, which was the Hyundai IONIQ 6 spotted in Europe, and this was the N line, especially looking at the logo on the wheels. Look at what we have in the news this week. This was spied testing in Europe. This supposedly is the IONIQ 6N. So big wheels, I presume they're probably like 20-inch wheels, big red caliper brakes as well. And you can see the big spoiler at the back. So supposedly it's IONIQ 6N. Now, there's obviously no confirmation at all. It's all speculation. But all signs, based on the previous one versus this one, points to say that this is the IONIQ 6N. What do you guys think? Do you guys like it? I'd love to know what do you guys think of the shape. And I'm really curious on this one because I feel like it's one of those types of vehicles or one of those things in life where you either really like the car or you really hate the car or you hate the design. I am in mixed minds when I initially saw the car itself, but I think I've grown to like it. So yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how this one performs because the IONIQ 5N has had raving reviews and it did win the Performance Car of the Year for 2024. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Hyundai brings this new one into the mix. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. So we've got some news on Lucid. So you can see here there was a post on X wrapping up Tech and Manufacturing Day, a sneak peek at new mid-size vehicles set for production in late 2026 with a starting price of under $50,000. And this is US price, of course, from Lucid. And in terms of conversion, as of right now, it's roughly 74,000 Australian dollars for the direct conversion. So yeah, look, there's no other information. Obviously, this is just a leaked teaser picture, I guess. And that's really all we have. Based on what I think, it kind of looks like it's going to be more of a hatchback type of car, judging by the curves over here. So it probably just slopes down like a normal hatchback. And then looking at these bits over here on two sides, I'd say Lucid's probably known for a lot of aerodynamics and really good drag coefficiency. So that's probably to do with all of that stuff as well. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted once we hear more information. That's literally all we know. We've just got that one teaser image and that's literally it. Alright, let's jump on to some social media updates. DeLorean EV conversion. So I showed you guys this a couple of weeks ago and here is already one of these. Now I don't know if they're specifically related or not, but it is a DeLorean EV and it has been spotted somewhere, I believe, in the US. And yeah, it still looks like an amazing car. You know, this movie was back in the 1980s and the car looked so futuristic and looked awesome, and now it really looks like it's this is the time for the car. And the next one here, I thought it was really interesting. So you may recall a while back, Fisker went bust after their Fisker Ocean review with Marquez Brownlee MKBHD. Anyways, they're saying now that Fisker Ocean EVs with low miles are selling for less than 25,000 US dollars. Now the conversion is right there as of today. It's roughly 37,000 Australian dollars. But yeah, would you guys buy it for $37,000? I don't think I would buy it. I think it's a bit risky for $37,000. And you look at our market here in Australia, we're actually quite spoilt in terms of EV choices at the moment, especially with the Chinese market and all the Chinese manufacturers coming over. We've got cars starting from $35,000 or even under $35,000 to buy a pure EV. You know, at $40,000, we're getting a lot of choices now, and there's more coming as well. So yeah, for me personally, I wouldn't touch it. But keen to get your thoughts, guys. Would you buy one of these or not? Alright, so that wraps up the other social media updates, with exception to a bunch of social media updates specifically to Tesla. What you guys can see here is new update, hands-free front opening in update 2024.32.3. Now this isn't available on every single vehicle, but that's something that's pretty cool. The next thing that I thought was pretty awesome was Tesla integrates Uber driver navigation directly into vehicles. So traditionally you would have to use your phone to, I guess, pick jobs for Uber, and you'll be using the navigation on your phone for that. So supposedly this integration now allows you to have that navigation on screen, which is fantastic, easier for you to see, less distraction as well. And the next one here is a very interesting post from Nick Cruz Patain, and apologies if I've totally butchered that name, but it says here, in the event of a collision, you can request additional information from Tesla if assistance is needed. There's a couple of steps there, and then what's really cool is the information that you can see. So jump onto that post and have a look, guys, because I think it's actually pretty cool. And if you want me to do a quick video or short video showing you guys exactly what it is, let me know in the comments below. Be more than happy to do that as well. But that's the first part of Tesla news, and the other part of Tesla news is that supposedly Robotaxi will adopt a wireless charging system. So Robotaxi there is going to be an event in October, so I have to see what that's all about. But in terms of the wireless charging system, the patent that they've kind of applied for makes it look like this. So it's something along the lines, most likely, of this is on a wall, this is on the floor. You most likely drive up or you drive across and you park over it, and then it's essentially like your phone with wireless charging or Qi charging. You essentially just put it on and conductive energy and it charges your vehicle. So yeah, sounds pretty cool. Would love to see that in action. And then, you know, the thing that would be interesting is how quick is that going to be able to charge, because right now a lot of shopping centres here in Australia we get 7 or 11 kilowatts in terms of charge speeds. There's not many cars that can kind of do more than that. There's quite a few cars that do 7 kilowatts. There's quite a few that can also do 11. There's a couple that can also do more than that, but traditionally it's 7 to 11 kilowatts that we see in AC charging for a lot of these. So it'd be interesting to see what speeds you can get out of that wireless charging to eliminate the needs to have the actual cables. My view is, at this point in time, probably half that, but yeah, who knows, we'll have to see. And that takes us to the end of the video. So thanks again as always. If you guys have tuned in for the entire thing, hope you guys are well. As I said, if there's any questions at all, drop in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you soon with more content. Take care and have a good weekend.